Welcome to Healthcare Matters, bringing you the latest insights and innovations shaping the future of healthcare. Today, this episode is powered by Medlab Middle East and in partnership with Beckman Coulter. I'm your host, Peter Birch, and today we're exploring the challenges and opportunities that are shaping laboratory diagnostics, the role of sustainability in healthcare innovation, and how healthcare systems can scale effectively while maintaining quality standards. I'm joined today by two distinguished guests, Professor Lamia Ali Mansour, Emeritus Professor of Clinical and Chemical Pathology at Cairo University and Head of the Chemistry and Hormone Unit at Alfa Laboratories. I'm also joined by Jamie Phares, Senior Vice President of High Growth Markets at Beckman Coulter Diagnostics, with extensive experience in driving strategic growth and fostering environmental sustainability. So in this episode, we'll uncover how innovations are accelerating patient diagnosis, revolutionizing business strategies, and driving sustainable healthcare solutions for the future. Hello, Lamia and Jamie. How are you?
Hi. Hello, Peter.
It's great to have you here in this conversation. I'm really looking forward to diving into it. But firstly, I only gave a really high-level introduction of your titles and what you do. I'd love to learn a little bit more. Firstly, Professor Mansour, tell us a little bit more about your background in the clinical and chemical pathology space.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Peter. Well, I have dedicated almost 4 decades to the field of clinical and chemical pathology, and throughout my career, I've worked in various capacities, from academic roles to hands-on clinical work, always with a focus on improving the diagnostic techniques and patient outcomes. I have special interests and experience in the fields of total quality management of clinical laboratories, laboratory accreditation, and also in medical education. Additionally, I'm deeply invested in the field of sustainability in the laboratory space. I have many publications in the field of laboratory medicine, a recent one being on the establishment of clinical chemistry reference intervals for adults in Egypt, and the most recent one was a study of the AGXT gene variants in Egyptian primary hyperoxaluria patients.
Fascinating. I can't wait to learn a little bit more about that because it provides a lot of context to this discussion. But Jamie, for yourself, tell me a little bit more about your role at Beckman Coulter and the high growth market side.
Sure. So, my name is Jamie Phares and I'm American, but I live in Dubai. I've been living here for the last 20 years. I have been working in healthcare here in the region for those 20 years. I was working for 18 years at Johnson & Johnson Medical Technologies and Pharmaceuticals, covering the region of like Middle East, Africa, as well as Europe over the years. And then a couple of years ago, I shifted over to Beckman Coulter Diagnostics, which is part of the Danaher Corporation. And my region, I would call it kind of the eastern side of the world. So that's like Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa, and Asia and Japan. I don't have China, but basically, a pretty wide range of like 14 time zones, and a really wonderful opportunity to make sure and accelerate the diagnostic capabilities of all of these countries across my region. And I've really enjoyed getting to know that business and that industry better and better over the last couple of years. A little bit about me personally. I have 2 sons who are 15 and 13 here with me in Dubai. My husband is Lebanese, and that's kind of, what helped me gravitate to the region. But now this is my region too. And, I do have a big interest in, first of all, as we mentioned, environmental sustainability in corporations. I think that we have a big responsibility to make sure that we are making our operations more and more sustainable. But in addition to that, I'm really big into corporate culture, making great teams, happy employees, and seeing all the wonderful results that happen when you make people happy at work. So it's really a cool and fun job, and it's been really wonderful to get to know Beckman Coulter Diagnostics. It's a super nice, agile, cool company.
Very cool. I'm keen to learn a little bit more about the company and I guess, the why on the problems we're solving. I'm still stuck a little bit thinking about that region that you have in inverted commas, such a diverse, group of countries and time zones, as you say. But I imagine there's some similarities, different problems to solve, but some nuances too. So tell me a little bit more about Beckman Coulter's mission and the challenges you're addressing. And particularly, we're speaking about laboratory diagnostics and biomedical testing today. Walk me through that a little bit more.
Sure. So, the slogan of the company is relentlessly reimagining healthcare one diagnosis at a time. So we've got this kind of relentless drive to bring better and better diagnostics to every corner of the world. Now, for me in high growth markets, I have some very developed countries like Japan and Korea and Taiwan. I've got some very emerging countries like India and Southeast Asia and others. And so each of them are on a different journey. As a country is earlier in their development, they need to get access to diagnostics. Because if you're in the middle of a village far from a city, how far are you going to go to have to get a diagnostic test? And so, you need to drive 2 hours to just get a normal diagnostic test. And the role of us and our healthcare systems is to get access to the diagnostic testing closer and closer to home. But then once a country is more developed and they've got testing closer to home, suddenly it becomes very expensive to have a lab in every single corner of every single block. Then they start to look at consolidation, making bigger and bigger labs. And then they move what we call a hub and spoke model, where you basically have a collection point, but then you bring the labs into a really big facility where we can do lab testing faster and faster and cheaper through automation. So automation is imagine a little amusement park for diagnostic tubes, right? That's like a track where those diagnostic tubes run along that track, and each test that tube needs will get taken off. You do the test, it puts it back on the track and keeps it going. And we're able to just do thousands and thousands of tests per minute by using this automation. And for us in Beckman Coulter, we are one of the world's leaders in automation. We have over 300 huge automation systems in my region alone. We doubled our automations last year in our region, and we are able to install automation, really, really fast compared to our competitors. So for us, that's a really important part of our story in making technology and bringing diagnostics faster and faster and cheaper in all of our countries, which is exactly what they need today on top of that clinical excellence.
Yeah, amazing. I reflect on the ability to be able to give access to people in all parts of the world, but then you've got all those additional challenges too. If I think, Professor Mansour, you've been in this field for over 3 decades, I think you said, and you've seen a lot of this evolution and the technology. And Jamie was just speaking about utilizing automation and some cool technologies to make some funky amusement parks for laboratory tests. But I just love that imagery, by the way. But the impact that it can have for people, and we're continuing to evolve. I'd love to hear from you about, I guess, how those technologies and processes have evolved over time, and where we're at today as an industry in terms of innovations in diagnostics.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, over the past 4 decades, we've seen significant advancements in technology, from time-consuming, laborious, manual techniques. That was when I was younger. Everything was a manual, all the steps, time-consuming, error-prone, and so on. Now, the operations are highly automated, and the processes, they encompass not only the analytical phase, but also the pre and the post-analytical phase with total lab automation. As I indicated previously, I'm head of a hormone unit at Alfa Laboratories, which is a member of Egypt-based Alfa Medical Group. The Alfa Medical Group includes over 230 labs, several radiology centers, in addition to a chain of hospitals. The Beckman Coulter DXA 5000 automation was installed in Alfa Labs about a couple of years ago. Before that, we were operating using standalone instruments, and we had different samples for each unit, even like 3 serum samples for the chemistry, hormone, and immunology units. Then we moved to the automation with the Beckman Coulter DXA 5000, and this offered several benefits to our lab chain. We run at our lab around 10,000 patient samples each day. The total lab automation is our choice of applying the hub and spoke model that Jamie talked about earlier. And the benefits are really enormous. We have a centralized expertise where we house all our diagnostic platforms and run all the complex and high-value tests in one place. Enhanced resource utilization and cost efficiency because we consolidate all the specialized tests at the hub. The spoke laboratories, they can focus on just performing some routine testing or just sampling for many branches. This reduces the need for duplicate investments in expensive equipment and also in specialized staff across the multiple locations. The total lab automation also offered us enhanced efficiency and improved accuracy. The system automates all the processes, starting from the pre-analytical until the very final post-analytical phase. And this minimizes errors through its advanced sample management and tracking capabilities, ensuring accurate and reliable test results. What I would also like to mention is how our turnaround time improved with the total lab automation. The total lab automation and the DXA 5000, it reduced our turnaround time, but more importantly, we now have consistent turnaround times, and we can keep our turnaround time even with unexpected increases in workload. So we can keep on our promises. With rapid processing and the high throughput, the reduction in TAT is critical for the patient care and satisfaction, and it allows for faster diagnosis. I would also like to mention how the DXA 5000 enhanced the safety. The features like automated sample preparation and handling, which reduces the risk of contamination and exposure to biohazards for the laboratory personnel, and the tube touch moment, it decreased significantly with the DXA 5000. This is crucial for the safety of our laboratory staff and technicians, and it also gave them more time to focus on more important and more valuable processes instead of the just tedious pre- and post-analytical steps that are non-value adding. Overall, the hub and spoke model with an automation solution installed in the main lab enhances the efficiency, the cost effectiveness, and the quality of services provided by us, supporting better patient care and operational excellence. Now, that was about automation, but looking beyond automation, analytical advancements in genetics, in genomics, in nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, and mass spectrometry enabled a new era of laboratory medicine. Furthermore, the concurrent development and advancements in bioinformatics and information technology and the use of the generated big data in machine learning and artificial intelligence, this will pave the way for an era of precision and personalized medicine.
It's very cool to think about that future, but I love that we can kind of lean into and hear about an example of, the innovative technologies driving automation, the clear return on investment, and being able to have you both here and walk through that and hear about the benefits is great, because we can hypothesize about it, but to see it in action here from yourself, that's amazing. But then I reflect on that and I think about, I guess, the area of trying to get improved patient outcomes and using rapid diagnosis. There's a lot of success so far, but there's still got to be some challenges. I'd love to hear from you, Professor Mansour, in this space of biomedical testing and diagnostics, where are we having challenges and what problems still need to be solved, particularly from your side of the clinical perspective?
Well, despite all the advancements in the technology, we are still facing challenges, and we have challenges to overcome, particularly in integrating these technologies into our everyday clinical practice and ensuring that the new technologies, like Jamie said, are both accessible and affordable for our Middle Eastern population. Many regions still lack the infrastructure required to implement the existing advanced diagnostics, as skill sets and resources vary from one country and from one region, even in the same country, to another. We still require in many of our countries to run some specific complex patient testing and samples abroad. As an example, we cannot define the exact percentage of rare disease diagnostics in the Middle East due to the variability in the diagnostic capabilities and reporting standards. Additionally, there is a need for continuous training and education to keep the healthcare professionals updated on the latest advancements. And by healthcare professionals, I mean all the stakeholders, including those who order the tests, the doctors who order the test, and of course, those who work at the lab. We all have to be updated on the latest advancements and the test usage. Add to it the need for regional collaboration, partnerships with international organizations, and the establishment of specialized reference centers to help expand and improve the diagnostics and care of certain complex and rare conditions in the region. This is really needed with all the advancements that are going to happen that are really quite expensive and require specialized labs.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it, Jamie? You can have the best technology or the capability that works, in testing, but if you get it out there in the real world, and if, I guess, external factors don't support you, like the infrastructure or the digital literacy or education, and the increasing global nature of healthcare, there's some factors still that I imagine you at Beckman Coulter would be looking to address. Walk me through how you have success despite these challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, first of all, there is, a common problem across almost every country that there's not enough great laboratory professionals. This is an area where labs cannot find enough lab technicians who are not, they need to train them up, on the way that they do things. I would say that if anybody needs to advise a young person on an area to go into, this is an area where we need more and more young people to go and join into the force of the laboratorians, as we call them. And so for us, we're a part of that. We need to make our systems easier and easier to use, with less and less work needed. For example, we have our new amazing technology, which is called the DXI 9000 immunoassay analyzer. And for the first time, it's an analyzer that doesn't need daily maintenance. This is the annoying work that laboratorians have to do to maintain these systems day after day. Well, for the first time, this analyzer doesn't need any daily maintenance. So it's a dream for the laboratorians. And, our laboratorians, many times they have to work in basement labs, no daylight, in rooms, windowless rooms, and we really want to do whatever we can to make their life easier and better. We also have training programs that we run. We have a great training center called our Dubai Vision Center right under the Birch Khalifa. Dr. Lamia has been there several times with us, and we bring laboratorians from all over the region to Dubai for these training programs and development programs, in addition to webinars and online trainings that we do. So we really want to make sure that we are providing value and bringing the practice of diagnostics forward every day, as well as having our teams on the ground with our laboratorians every day. We have service people in their labs every day with them when they have a problem, coming as fast as possible when something breaks, or just checking on our analyzers or giving them the latest upgrades, latest modifications to make sure that they work as well as possible, as often as possible. In addition, like that DXI 9000, it is actually the one of the best performing analyzers on the market with the highest 6 sigma performance, what we say. So it's like, if you run this analyzer, how often is it giving you an accurate test result? When you get a test result today, you get a number on a piece of paper. Do you trust it? How do you know that that number is correct? And I think during COVID, many of us would get, maybe like a rapid diagnostic test, and you'd say, is it accurate? I don't even know if it's true or not, right? So I think COVID really taught us all to really wonder and value the quality and reputation of diagnostic results. And that is our mission every day. We have to make sure that the repeatability, reliability, accuracy of every one of our tests that's coming out of our analyzers is as good as possible. That's that Six Sigma performance. And our DXI 9000 actually has the best Six Sigma performance on the market. So super excited to bring the practice of diagnostics forward every day.
Well, another area that I know that you mentioned that you're super passionate about, Jamie, was around this point around sustainability. And we know that it's a really important focus for every industry, including healthcare, but sometimes it can feel like it's something that's just tick a box and not really core to the culture of what organizations do. But I'd love to hear from Beckman Coulter's perspective, your approach to sustainability and why it is really important in the laboratory diagnostics and healthcare innovation space.
Sure, absolutely. So for us, we have been, we're delivering over 1 million diagnostic tests per minute. There's a massive environmental impact of just running our business. And as a big corporation, who is leading the world in many things, we have a responsibility and a passion to really make sure that we are taking it seriously about making sure that we have our environmental footprint under control. So starting 10 years ago, we started to make environmental commitments and improving the environmental sustainability of our operations. 2 years ago, our corporation, Danaher, released an important sustainability report. And a year ago, we committed to reducing our carbon footprint by 50% by 2032 and becoming carbon neutral by 2050. And we are on track towards these goals. We have installed a huge number of renewable energy installations and buying renewable energy off the grid, whether that's solar, wind, geothermal. In addition, changing our packaging, reducing the amount of paper and waste, as well as trying to, for the first time, also look at how we can help labs do the same thing. And so we have basically started, to realize that we're in one ecosystem. Dr. Lamia's labs and Alfa Labs and her university and us, we're one ecosystem because she can't improve her environmental sustainability footprint if I don't improve my analyzers and my packaging, and I cannot improve unless she improves her processes and the way she uses those analyzers. We're together on this. And so we actually held an incredible event in November in Dubai. We had 40 of us customers and associates of our company come together to envision what does the future of environmental sustainability look like in the clinical lab ecosystem. And it was honestly a beautiful event. And Dr. Lamia gave us all the best tips and tricks of how labs can improve their operations and become more environmentally sustainable. Dr. Lamia, I remember you told us, be sure to arrange your refrigerators well in the lab, because if you keep the door open looking for something, you're going to waste a huge amount of energy. And so it's things like that, in addition to big things that, those labs should be doing. And at the end of the 2 days together, it was beautiful. Every lab had an action plan, and they also gave input on how they want us as the industry to change as well. And so now we'll be repeating that event in other parts of the world this year to create our next set of goals in sustainability.
Yeah, I love that, and some great practical examples there too. From Professor Mansour. Coming to you, just thinking about your experience, Professor Mansour, in the industry and seeing this, I guess, rapid scale of how things are progressing, and we're continuing to do new things and want to innovate. We look at the Middle East and beyond, I guess, too. How do you find this balance between this speed of innovation and trying new things, but while also maintaining those really important quality standards like Jamie was talking about before, and ensuring that accuracy? Because on one hand, we don't want to do things really quickly at the expense of maintaining that quality. Are they like a sliding scale? Can you only do one at the other, or can you do both?
Well, Peter, it is indeed a challenge, but we don't need to choose. We can do both. Such a balance is possible with the right strategies. Key to this balance is robust regulatory frameworks and continuous assurance processes. In the lab network, we follow strict regulatory guidelines, whether these guidelines are national or international. And all our governments encourage laboratories to obtain local accreditations. Egypt Lab Accreditation Body is the general authority for healthcare accreditation and regulation, the GAHAR. GAHAR is responsible for setting and enforcing standards for healthcare quality and patient safety in Egypt. Many institutions and many labs seek the gold standard recognized international accreditation bodies like the CAP, the ISO 15189 for medical laboratories, or the JCI to further enhance their quality of service. The collaboration between the governments, the healthcare providers, and manufacturers is crucial to ensure that innovation does not compromise quality and safety, and that guidelines are respected, which is for the better of better employees' well-being and benefits, and also and definitely enhanced patient outcomes and safety. I would also like to add that the continuous training and education and updating will also enable the lab personnel to keep this balance between the rapidly emerging technologies and the quality of service they are providing. And actually, yes, the Vision Center at Beckman Coulter, we had several of our chemists. They went there for training, and it's beautiful, and it really adds to their expertise and their ability to perform the work in a safer way.
Amazing. Look, and it's great to hear those resources and capabilities are there too. But Jamie, I'm keen to hear your thoughts too, because I guess if I look specifically at the Middle East, we know it's dynamic, it's fast moving. That's how we do things around here. I imagine there are some strategies that healthcare providers and innovators have used that have helped them succeed, but there's probably things that have been tried that didn't work. From your side, if there was advice or reflections you could provide to providers and innovators within the region on how you can not just survive, but I guess scale to serve more patients effectively.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, the Middle East region is a key region for us and Beckman Coulter Diagnostics. We've got operations and we're selling to labs all over this region. In some of the countries, we work with channel partners or distributors. In some countries, we have our own direct operations. We have warehouses here, headquarters here, and, expanding all the time. In Saudi Arabia, we actually, understood the power of that market, and we actually went direct with our own operations in Saudi Arabia almost 10 years ago. And today, that has allowed us to gain the position as a market leader with the Ministry of Health in Saudi Arabia. And actually, we have installed those automation systems all over the Ministry of Health in Saudi Arabia, as well as putting our own warehouse in order to serve that important market. At the same time, we have great distributors all over the region who are doing an excellent job of bringing our technologies to labs around the region, as well as our own team supporting those channel partners and our direct operations. In addition to that, we do hold educational and events, as well as gatherings, congresses, in order to bring together our customers, including the Middle East Lab Experts Summit that we held in our Vision Center in Dubai every year, supporting in Medlab in Dubai, as well as the Saudi Global Health conference. And so for us, really making sure that we invest in this region, that we bring the practice forward in this region, bringing global experts to the region, including Stan Westgard, who is one of the leading lights in the areas of quality control and standardization. And so we're just really trying to be there, partnering in deep partnership with our customers here in the region, and really driving things forward that way. There's no one size fits all solution, in the Middle East, as we know. And so we really tailor our approach country by country.
Yeah, it seems like a sensible approach, and that's really exciting to to hear about what you're doing now. If I was to then take that forward-facing lens and looking forward to the future as we start to wrap the conversation, if we did look ahead, I'd love to hear from you, Jamie, first, and then to Professor Mansour. But how do you think that healthcare providers and innovators can continue to, I guess, drive growth through innovation while at the same time keeping committed to that point that we raised that was really important around sustainability? How do you tackle that kind of challenge, or the other side of the coin, particularly in the fast evolving regions like the Middle East?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, first of all, for us, the clinical performance has to always go hand in hand with the work that we're doing around sustainability. And to give you one example of one of the ways that we're bringing forward that clinical performance, I mentioned earlier that DXI 9000, and that actually got a very, very highly sensitive technology inside. And so that means that it can detect very, very small amounts of a biomarker in blood. And so, for example, when it comes to Alzheimer's, we have biomarkers that we use to track Alzheimer's, like p-tau217 and amyloid. And that analyzer can detect 1 teaspoon of that biomarker in 100,000 swimming pools of water, for example. And so this is so sensitive that it made us think to ourselves, wow, what are we going to do with this sensitivity? And so we're now re-looking at all of the different tests and assays where we may need more sensitivity. And we're actually already on the market with a new biomarker test for neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's, which is a research use only assay. And we've already got that launched in the US, and that will be coming to the region later this year. And so that is allowing us to drive forward the practice of Alzheimer's testing or other neurodegenerative disease testing, which we all know, everyone always said there's no test for this. But now this is coming. And the great thing is that there's over 100 medicines in development right now for neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. And so then you put that together hand in hand with a good solid test from blood that allows you to see what's happening. And we are now turning the corner when it comes to neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's. So that's something that we're super excited about. And then at the same time, we need to make sure that the way that we are scaling up and providing more and more care isn't providing a bigger and bigger burden on the earth. And so that's why we're scaling up our work around environmental sustainability. How can we help labs, for example, use renewable energy? What labs need, solar panels, for example? How can we help labs to order better so that they don't order too much? And, if you order every day, then you're going to be having a much higher footprint of packaging, heavy shipments coming from manufacturing plants, from distribution centers. So how can we help them optimize their operations in order to make that better and better? And so, these two things go hand in hand. And these are two things that we're excited about in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, optimizing those efficiencies in the operations, it all adds up. But how exciting about the other innovations in the Alzheimer's space, and think about the impact that can have at a global scale. So it must be exciting times to be in the thick of it there. Professor Mansour, if you were to close us out with some final thoughts around keeping that pace of innovation going, maintaining that level of that focus on the sustainability, what are your thoughts?
Well, the key is to foster a culture of continuous improvement and innovation, which involves investing in new technologies and processes while also prioritizing sustainable practices. There is a growing global movement towards sustainability and the Net Zero Initiative in clinical laboratories. It is our collective responsibility to collaborate with eco-conscious innovators and disseminate this knowledge throughout the Middle East region. It's our role to do this, and it's our responsibility. The laboratory leaders, they must consider the climate health crisis while developing their policies, their procedures, their training strategies, and their quality improvement programs. We should work on raising awareness, bridging knowledge gaps, and incorporating the sustainable practices into our daily routine with a focus on reducing our energy, water, and chemical consumption, and the production of waste. This should be our focus, and this is happening. Last week, we had the annual conference of the Clinical and Chemical Pathology Department in Cairo University, and there was a whole session dedicated to sustainability. The faculty is interested, the government is we are all working together now towards more sustainable practices. And this is really, it's amazing.
Some clear priorities there and exciting times ahead. And to be able to have a chat with you both, Professor Mansour and Jamie Phares, on this exciting area around advancements in healthcare diagnostics, some of the innovative business strategies, and the importance of sustainability in shaping a brighter future has been great to spend the time with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been fun.
Thank you.
And thank you to Medlab Middle East and Beckman Coulter for making this conversation possible. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow Healthcare Matters on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to stay up to date with the latest healthcare insights. I'm Peter Birch. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.